was more than a little bit surreal to see these kind of like rock star icon guys who are generally playing in arenas and stadiums, okay, and two guys from one of the biggest bands in the history of music playing just inches in front of you in a little club in Omaha on a Monday night. It was just kind of hard to wrap your brain around, to be honest. It's me, your buddy Dave, the host here of the Dark Stuff channel on YouTube. Thanks a lot for checking out my video. This week, I'm doing the next installment of my This Year's Week segment. I'm just going to do a little catch-up of what's been happening over in the world of the Dark Stuff for the last 7 to 10 days. I don't know. It's an approximate thing. Off with what I showed you a little clip of, and that was the band The Baseball Project, who I saw just a few nights ago. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Baseball Project is sort of like an indie rock supergroup to a certain degree that features Scott McCaughey, who you know from bands like the Young Fresh Fellows, the -5. He was a touring member of R.E.M. for about 15 years or so. Steve Wynn, who you know from the Dream Syndicate, and as a solo artist, and he's been in some other bands as well. Guy's a legend. Linda Pitmon, who's been in addition to the Dream Syndicate, she also used to be in the band Zuzu's Petals. Peter Buck, who you might have heard of from the band R.E.M., and Mike Mills, who you also might have heard of from the same band called R.E.M. Now, this group travels around playing clubs, and they don't do any songs from their other bands. You weren't going to hear any R.E.M. songs. You weren't going to hear any Dream Syndicate or Young Fresh Fellows or any of that. They have 4 albums of original material, and all of the songs are about baseball. Yeah. I mean, you heard me. The songs were all about baseball. I mean, they have titles like The Yips, Screwball, Stats, The Box Scores, The Extra Inning of Love, Fairweather Fans, Pete Rose Way, Ted fucking Williams, you know, just to name a couple of different songs. So this is just obviously 5 friends who love getting together and playing this material. I mean, you know, yeah, R.E.M., when they ended in 2011, their final tour, they were doing stadiums and arenas. They are legit one of the most popular bands in the history of music. And here they were playing in front of about 200 people on a Monday night at the Waiting Room. I mean, this wasn't the first time I've seen anyone from at that level play at the Waiting Room before. I mean, I did see Ace Frehley in 2016. That was pretty awesome as well. I mean, in all candor, after a while, it did kind of get a little old. I mean, it was awesome seeing those guys and being like, whoa, that's Peter Buck. Whoa, that's Mike Mills. That's Steve Wynn, you know. But then that does wear off. I mean, they do 2 sets, and by the end of the second set, it's like, okay. I mean, you know, that was just me. The fans, there were a lot of guys wearing baseball jerseys, and they were fully into the whole thing. They weren't just there to see the guys from R.E.M., but that's why I was there, if I'm just being honest. bit of sad news in the world of the Replacements. Don't know if you guys had heard yet, but Mary Louise Westerberg passed away on July 2nd of 2024. That is Paul Westerberg's mother. It's a pretty creative obituary in the Star Tribune, and I'll try to link to that if I remember. Also in that week is it's a slight tie-in with the Replacements, but Lori Lynn Dean passed away at age 62. Now, Lori Lynn Dean was the ex-wife of Paul Westerberg, mother of her son Johnny, but she's also a musician in her own right, played in the band Zuzu's Petals, who I mentioned, Linda from the Baseball Project, and those two played together. I wish I'd known that night. I would have tried to maybe, talk to her about it, or just at least offer my condolences or whatever, but I didn't make the connection until afterwards. So yeah, rough week for Paul, rough week for John Westerberg to lose his mother and grandmother within a week of that. So, obviously all my condolences go out to anyone in that immediate circle there. News from the Replacements, anyways, is that Chris Mars has announced that he's doing a limited edition run of his most recent album, The Average Album, on vinyl. It's very limited, I think, to only 300 perhaps. I'm not sure. You'll want to go to his website, chrismarspublishing.com, and investigate. Order that. I mean, at the very least, it's worth getting, even if you already have the tracks, just for the artwork being big. I mean, getting to see Chris's art in a larger setting than just on a digital thing on your computer would be pretty cool. Getting a 12 by 12 whatever would be pretty awesome. Now, the night before I saw the Baseball Project, I did see X on their final tour. I'm not going to talk about that too much here because I did an entire video review just of that show, so I will link to that below. Bottom line is, X still has it. This is the end of the road for those guys. They are calling it quits. But they are not going out on a bad note. It was an incredible show. Again, I will refer you to that video. All right, and then this is the part of the video that I know most people are anticipating, and that is what's been going on with Neko and Blackie. What is the news going on with the cats? Because I'm going to try and report their activities. Sadly, though, this week, not a lot of activity. Okay, I didn't really have a lot of activity on their front. I do estimate them to be sleeping at about a rate of maybe 16.5 hours per day. It's an estimate, I'm not keeping exact track. It's just my guess, but not a lot of other activity beyond that. Hopefully more next time. This track, I Was Made for Loving You, has been played now on Spotify over 1 billion times. That's billion with a B. They have gone into the Billions Club, which is known. I'm sure Kiss made about $45 for those billion spins because Spotify pays dick. But whatever, congratulations. That's fucking insane. 1 billion plays. Now, that's Kiss's disco song, which tells you something. And it's funny because Ace posted on his social media the notification and then posted the top 5 songs of Kisses on Spotify. And strangely enough, 2 of them are from the 80s, Lick It Up and Heaven's on Fire. I found that extremely interesting. Don't know what to make of that, but cool nonetheless. Congratulations, I guess, on those billion streams, guys. There are numerous examples where the show The Simpsons accurately predicted the future. Okay, I believe they predicted Donald Trump being president like 20 years before it happened. They predicted all sorts of other crazy shit. Well, they did an episode in the 90s where they talked about Cypress Hill performing with the Symphony. It is coming true. We just saw an announcement that Cypress Hill is going to be performing with the Omaha Symphony. This seems so crazy to me. Intriguing, but crazy, and I think I'm going to go. I mean, I just don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how they're going to stop people from smoking weed in the Steelhouse. This is Cypress Hill, for crying out loud. All right, a couple of pickups this week. I mean, not too many. I mentioned in the X video that they were selling copies of their brand new album, which is called Smoke and Fiction, on vinyl at the show. It comes out August 2nd normally, but they were selling copies at the gigs. So if you are going to see X, you will get a chance to buy their newest record. I also picked up the King Hannah record. Okay, Big Swimmer. Talked about this a couple weeks ago as I am spinning it nonstop. Still am, basically. Not much in terms of packaging. There is literally nothing on the inside. No lyrics, no nothing. That's a little bit disappointing, but whatever. This is right now my #1 album of the year at this point. Now I hit Half Price Books, actually trying to find a copy of a specific book, and I couldn't find it, but I did go into the CDs, and I found 4 CDs for under $20. I picked up a copy of Green Day Dookie, the Bangles Everything. Also have that on vinyl, but didn't have it on CD. This was $3. Phil Collins Face Value, believe it or not. I don't actually have it. This album's probably sold like 50 million copies. I was not one of the people who ever bought it. I've never owned a Phil Collins solo record. This is my first time. And lastly, I picked up this Lou Barlow CD called Emo. This is a 2005 solo record from Lou. Not familiar with it. I've heard his stuff in Sebadoh, Centrado, Deluxe Sebadoh, obviously in Dinosaur Jr., but haven't heard too much of his solo stuff, so we'll be getting to that. And then lastly, in a video a little while ago, I talked about I was trying to come up with this new segment where I was going to rewatch old stuff, old movies and TV that I used to watch when I was a kid, and I asked for suggestions for names. Now, none of you came up with anything worthwhile. Sorry. I don't mean to be harsh, but it's true. I got a couple of suggestions on here, on YouTube, a couple on Facebook. I mean, they were okay. I'm not gonna shit all over it. But bottom line is, I decided to come up with my own, and I titled it "Youthful Indiscretions." Okay. Now, my first video, which I've been madly editing for the last week and a half, is going to be me watching the movie Zapped. Okay, starring Scott Baio, Willie Ames, Heather Thomas, Felice Schachter, and Scatman Crothers. And I'm going to show you a little teeny preview of the video right now. We also heard a further rumor that Heather Thomas was either naked or topless or whatever in the movie. Now, spoiler alert, it's not true, but there was no way to, check that on the internet or to, see. There was just, you had to watch the movie to see. Was just a taste of what's to come. So these videos take a lot more time than I kind of thought. I really didn't acknowledge to myself, at least, how much work was going to be I had to put into this. So you motherfuckers better appreciate it when it comes out. I'm just kidding. Well, not really. I do actually mean that. That's pretty much all I got for you folks. Thanks a lot for watching. I will see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
So, you have a MySpace page or something?